Allow me to take you on a journey through the darkest corners of the internet, where unsettling horrors wait in the dark and your worst nightmares come true. Get ready to embark on a quest like no other as we delve into the most astonishing stories ever told on Reddit. Story 1. One summer night, I went on a late-night bike ride with a friend. After the evening ended, we parted ways, and I had a 2-block ride back home. Due to construction, I had to ride on the sidewalk. The streets were empty until I reached the point where I needed to turn left onto my street. A man was strolling alone, appearing to be in his 40s, slightly unkempt but not homeless. The sidewalk was quite narrow, and I didn't want to startle him. As I approached about 6 feet behind him, I called out, "Hey, behind you!" He turned around and shot me an extremely angry glare. As I turned onto my street, he began following me, shouting insults and threats. I reside near the corner, and to avoid him discovering that, I chose to make another round around the block. That wasn't the scary part. What was unsettling was when I circled back and glanced down the street, I noticed him standing on my front stoop, gazing out at the street as if he was aware of where I lived. He noticed me passing by once more, but he remained silent. I returned to my friends, too creeped out to possibly go home. The man didn't appear to be homeless, but it was unnerving that he knew where I lived. I messaged my mom to come pick me up, and I chained my bike up in the alleyway by my house. 2 days later, my bike was stolen. I can't help but think the two events were related. Unfortunately, there is a significant population of individuals with mental health challenges in the downtown area of my city. What was unsettling was that he appeared quite ordinary for where I live. For a normal-looking person to be so offended by sharing a sidewalk that they'd steal my bike really unsettled me. Story 2. This was during the middle of August in North Texas, summer 2023, so the nighttime temperatures were around 100 degrees. My dad and one of my brothers, who's 11, drove an hour north into the countryside to go stargazing for my brother's Scout Merit badge. There are some twisty gravel roads in the forest as you approach Black Creek Lake. We got to see a coyote, a deer, and 2 raccoons. We live in a city, so we don't often see such animals. We thought that'd be our excitement for the night. We then finally made it to the recreational park grounds beside the lake. The layout is simple. If you're standing in the round parking lot, then the campgrounds are to the north and west. The lake is south, and the path in and out is east of us. There are no official campgrounds east of this recreational area, which is important for later. We got there around 10 p.m. and set up. We were able to successfully see some stars through my telescope, as well as Saturn, which was exciting for us. Throughout this whole time, though, there were 2 parties, or what might have been one group, in the parking lot. To the north in the lot were 2 cars. From that direction, we were constantly hearing a loud, irritating voice of a woman who was obviously in a bad mood and didn't want to be there. She continually cursed at someone, or no one in particular. And at one point, she was mad at someone for taking her keys and obstructing her from driving, which obviously made it sound like she was drunk or under some influence. At one point in the night, around 11 p.m., we hear someone loudly, sporadically honk one of the car horns, over and over in random patterns. Then we hear the obnoxious woman rudely tell someone to wake up, over and over again. Then proceeding to hold down the horn for a few seconds at a time, and continuing her assault on the horn in our ears. By this point, my family and I are just about ready to leave due to this loud commotion. Then, for about 20 to 30 minutes, we were able to watch the stars in relative peace, with little noise coming from the other 2 parties. Fortunately, none of these people were directly involved with what happened next, but it might have been the cause of it. Just before midnight, we packed up our stargazing stuff and got in the car. Now, the gravel path to the exit is up a slight hill or slope, meaning from the parking lot, you can't see past where the path goes up and around a couple trees. We drive up the hill, and just as the headlights come back down to illuminate the path in front of us, it was right then and there that we see a man. wearing only black shorts and no shirt. The timing was straight out of a horror movie, to just suddenly see someone out of nowhere. He was in his late 20s or 30s and had short, dark hair. Just as the light hit him, he was standing and walking right there, just to the right of our car in front of us at a very close distance, only a couple feet away. Guy had been walking towards our direction, and upon seeing us, quickly raised both his arms to flip us off with both hands. He kept his hands and arms raised, and is quickly and loudly saying something to us with anger or something in his voice. We couldn't understand what he was saying though, because we had the radio on, and all this happened quickly. The second the man saw us, he started walking towards our car faster. My dad was driving slowly, initially to avoid the agitated man, thinking he might need help. My dad, in a confused voice, says, "What is he doing?" But I just reply with, "Nope, go, 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 go," and we sped off. I knew that this was not a situation where we needed to stick around and ask questions. It freaked me out a little imagining what would have happened if the guy had reached the car a few seconds later if we hadn't sped off. I'm not very familiar with my dad's car, and it scares me that I might have ended up pressing the wrong button to lock my door, and the guy could have opened it and done who knows what. We left and never had anything else happen. But we did wonder who that guy was and where he came from. I couldn't help but feel a sense of danger. I hope that no harm came to those other two parties that night. Story 3. I was a young and stupid 17-year-old girl from the country who moved to the city for the first time for college. One night, I thought that it would be safe for me to walk back to my dorm around 1:30 in the morning, even though I had no idea where I was. Naturally, I end up in a terrible part of the city right away. Most of the streetlights are broken. There's trash everywhere, and loud fights are coming from inside row houses that are so bad, they're not even worth being there during the day. A car pulls up behind me and slows down, following me for almost a whole block. When I look over, I see 5 guys inside who give me the creeps. I was getting close to a crossroad when they pulled over, made a left, and stopped in the street right in front of me. At this point, I'm so scared that I just stand there in front of them. I can't remember anything. I've never been that scared in my life. They would have caught me no matter what, so there was no point in trying to escape. I don't know how long I stood there before the porch light in the house next to the car turned on. A man holding a trash bag walked outside, and the car drove off. I start to shake and cry, and this guy sees me. He listens to my jumbled story, brings me inside and gives me a soda, and then walks me back to my dorm with his roommate. They were both very nice and asked me to see their stand-up sometime, but I was too young to get into a bar. I never saw them again and can't even remember their names. But I'm pretty sure that night, my life would have gone in a very bad direction if that guy hadn't taken out his trash at 1 a.m. on a Saturday. If you enjoyed these real-life stories from Reddit, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more mind-bending content. Thank you for joining us on this adventure, and until next time, remember, the internet is a vast and mysterious place, filled with stories waiting to be discovered.